Hi there, for this video we are going to be reviewing yesterday's Module 10 reading assessment. So I'll go through the test and talk about what the answer was, the correct answer was, and why that was the correct answer. So let's go ahead and begin. Module 10 reading assessment. Okay. Together. Kim, Pam, and Sam are friends. The kids like this neighborhood. The kids like to help the neighbors. A neighbor asked, "Can you help dig?" "We will help you dig." Kim, Pam, and Sam did it together. A neighbor asked, "Can you see this big mess?" "We will help you," said the kids. A neighbor asked, "Can you find my cat?" "We will help you find the cat." Then the neighbors asked, "Can you sip this?" And the kids had many sips, happy together. So I'm going to go over the questions. Make sure you're listening very well because you're about to do the retest here in a little while. So going over these questions can be very helpful for that. So number 1. What type of story/genre is Together? Is it A, fantasy, or B, realistic fiction? One more time. What type of story/genre is Together? A, fantasy, or B, realistic fiction? So I hope on this one you said realistic fiction because this story is fake. Yes, it's made up. It's not a true story. But it seems real. It seems like it could happen. And that's what realistic fiction means. It seems real. It's fake, but it could happen. Now, fantasy, it's completely made up. There might be magic, talking animals. The setting might be unusual, right? So completely made up. That's what fantasy is. But this story, it seems like it could be real. There really could be a group of friends who like their neighborhood, right? Okay, so for number 1, B is the correct answer. Number 2, what was the author's purpose in writing this story? A, persuade, B, inform, or C, entertain? Number 2, what was the author's purpose in writing this story? A, persuade, B, inform, or C, entertain? I hope you picked C, entertain, because this story is not trying to persuade you, to get you to do, try, believe, or say something. The story is not giving you real information, facts. No, it's not doing either one of those. The story is just meant to entertain you. The author wrote the story hoping you'll enjoy it. Also, in a video I said earlier this week, if you pay attention to the genre, that can help you figure out the author's purpose. And realistic fiction, which we went over on question 1, is usually to entertain you, just hoping you'll enjoy the story, not to inform you or persuade you. So number 2 is C, entertain. Number 3, what happened at the end of this story? A, they found a puppy. B, the kids had many sips, happy together. C, they built a treehouse. Number 3, what happened at the end of the story? A, they found a puppy. B, the kids had many sips, happy together. Or C, they built a treehouse. Okay, the correct answer is, try and highlight this, is B. Because if you're listening very carefully to the story, it ends with, and the kids had many sips, happy together. It doesn't say anything about finding a puppy or building a treehouse. It says the kids had many sips, happy together. So in this question, you just need to pay attention to the beginning, middle, end. Really focus and listen to those parts of the story. Number 4, based on what you read in the story, what was the kids' behavior like? A, confused, B, happy, or C, mean? Number 4, based on what you read in the story, what was the kids' behavior like? A, confused, B, happy, or C, mean? The correct answer is happy. The characters in the story are not confused. They're not confused about anything. It doesn't ever say anything about that. And they're not mean towards anyone. It even says, and the kids had many sips, happy together. They were happy to be together, so the correct answer is B for number 4. Also remember, this is character traits. This is the personality trait, how they behave. Remember, personalities, how they behave, their actions, the things they say, okay? And so in this story, they're very nice to their neighbors. They're very nice to each other, so correct answer, B, happy. All right, number 5, what was the setting? A, by a lake, B, outside, or C, on a mountain? Number 5, what was the setting? A, by a lake, B, outside, or C, on a mountain? Remember, setting is where and when the story takes place. You can also, if you didn't hear it in the words, pay attention to the picture. Where are they? Are they by a lake, outside, or on a mountain? They're outside. They're doing all these different things for their neighbors, and it's taking place outside. So the correct answer is B, outside. Okay, here's our next short little story. Neighborhoods. Make sure you're listening very carefully, okay? Neighborhoods. What is a city like? A city is big. It has many neighborhoods. You can see many neighbors. You can go on a bus to a school, a library, and a market. What is a farm like? A farm is not as big as a city. It is outside the city. You do not see many neighbors. You can go on a bus to school, just like in a city. Is your neighborhood like a farm? Is it like a city? All right, now time for the neighborhoods questions. Number 6. This is the same question as the one from earlier. Genre. What type of story/genre is neighborhoods? Is it A, fantasy, or B, informational? Number 6. What type of story/genre is neighborhoods? A, fantasy, or B, informational? Well, the correct answer is what? B, information. Remember, fantasy is made up. It cannot happen. Informational, you're going to be learning you're going to be learning information, facts. And in this little story, we're learning that a city has many neighborhoods. It is big. We're learning that farms are not as big as cities. It's outside the city. It still has neighbors, but you don't see many of them. So you're learning different little things about the city and farm. So informational, you're learning. So B. Number 7, what was the author's purpose in writing this story? A, persuade, B, inform, or C, entertain? Number 7, what was the author's purpose in writing this story? A, persuade, B, inform, or C, entertain? All right, just like I said earlier, because question 2 right here is just like this question. And I said earlier that you can use the genre to help you figure out the author's purpose. So we said informational. The genre for neighborhoods is informational, correct? Well, what's the author's purpose in writing this story? To persuade you, to get you to do, try, believe something? No. To entertain you? Yeah, entertain is a little entertaining story. But the main purpose was to B, inform you. Give you information on what? Neighborhoods, like the city and like a farm. So make sure when you do your retest, use the genre to help you answer the next question. Because remember, genre can help you figure out the author's purpose, which is for this one, the story is B, inform. It's meant to the author is trying to teach you, give you some information. So number 8, what is the central idea of the story? A, neighborhoods, B, school, or C, map? Number 8, what is the central idea of the story? A, neighborhoods, B, school, or C, map? So central idea is what the story is mostly about. Was the story mostly about neighborhoods, schools, or maps? It was mostly about neighborhoods, right? It even says it in the title, neighborhoods. Neighborhoods in the city and neighborhoods in the farm. It tells you about the different places, right? So it doesn't talk really about that much about school or maps. It talks about neighborhoods. Remember, for central idea, one of the clues you could do is use the title. All right? Number 9, which of the following choices is a detail from the story, neighborhoods? A farm is not as big as a city. B, cows are a type of animal. Or C, it is cold in the winter. So we're looking for details in this question. So which of the following choices is a detail from the story, neighborhoods? A farm is not as big as a city. B, cows are a type of animal. Or C, it is cold in the winter. Well, in this little story, neighborhoods, does it mention winter? No. So this is not a good choice. Does it talk about cows being a type of animal? No, it does not. Does it say a farm is not as big as a city? It does, right here. A farm is not as big as a city. So that is a detail from the story. So the correct answer is A. So make sure whenever you're doing these tests, if you don't even hear any of these choices from the story, if you're like, that wasn't in the story, then don't pick them. If you didn't even hear anything about it, don't pick it. That's not the right answer. It's not a good choice. All right, our last one, number 10. This image is an example of which text feature? So this image right here. A, bigger text, B, picture/drawing, or C, colorful words. Number 10, this image is an example of which text feature? A, bigger text, B, picture/drawing, or C, colorful words. Well, is this a bigger text? No, that's not even an example of a text. This right here, what I'm going over, is text. So it's not even an example of text. Colorful words. Is this a picture of colorful words? Is this an example of colorful words? No. Is this an example of a picture/drawing? It is. Remember, a picture/drawing is something that can be done with pencil, crayon, marker, something like that. All right. I hope you enjoyed this little review over yesterday's test. If you need to go back to any of the stories, go ahead and do that. If you want to go back and listen to any of the questions again, go ahead and do that. Hope you enjoyed today's review.